common sense already involves the kind of elements that we need in order to do philosophy. It involves the capacity to ask questions. It involves an ability to understand somewhat abstract words like knowledge and justice. Those are the things that we, in some way, we all understand. It involves an ability to reflect, to feel curiosity, to criticize things that other people have said because they don't seem to fit with something that we know. What's different about philosophy, but also, for example, different about science, which also has its roots in common sense, is that we take these very normal capacities for thinking and experiencing the world, and we start applying them in much more systematic and careful ways than would normally happen. That we start criticizing more ruthlessly, maybe, than would be considered socially acceptable in most settings, and we try to elaborate our ideas more carefully, and often when we say something, we're held to that, so that we're not allowed just to shift our ground, for as where, if you like, move the goalposts all the time. But once we've said that, then something that's going to be tested to see whether what we said was true, correct, as in the very terms that we said it. Philosophy is something that it doesn't involve any kind of mystical abilities or anything like that, but it does involve the much more systematic application of common sense ways of thinking, which gradually evolve into something rigorous in the way that all sciences have evolved out of common sense. And it's also something that's more cumulative than common sense, because of course if we sometimes with common sense we have an argument in a pub that might kind of get philosophical, but then probably we just forget about it, or nothing happens. Whereas in philosophy we keep a record of the way these discussions have gone in the past through philosophical books and so on, and so that means that we can be more cumulative. There's more possibility of building on what previous generations have done, because we've got a careful record of what they said and of how the debate proceeded in those cases. In effect, I mean, philosophy is a huge cooperative enterprise that has involved thousands of men and women over thousands of years, and we are building on what our ancestors and others did in a way that we don't have so much with common sense, which, although it does change over the centuries, changes rather less than philosophy does.